welcome to segment 7.7, the future of patents. The purpose of this lecture is to hopefully tie together where it is that we started this course. So we've gone through an overview of each of the aspects of IP. We've looked at how it relates to companies and to sizes of companies. We've looked at strategies that companies may do as far as preparing the assets, the patent applications, as well as using the patents granted after they've actually been issued. We've looked at monetization avenues that potentially companies may also explore when they're looking at actually implementing these strategies. But that being said, we've covered a lot of ground, and the purpose of this lecture is to kind of tie it all together and ask the fundamental question: what is the value of IP? We've looked at a lot of different types of IP, but where we started from a historical context of where IP initially was being used, 1,000, 2,000 plus years ago, is that still being maintained? And not only that, but when we look at IP from a national point of view within the country, what is the current perspective and position on it, and how does that relate to international type considerations? So first off, let's discuss what is the value of IP. And we started the course again looking theoretically at whether or not IP helps ideas to surface and whether IP helps society to progress. Now, as far as helping ideas to surface, I think that you would conclude, as I have, that patents in particular assist with bringing new inventions to the public. Yes, a limited monopoly is granted to them for a time, but society as a whole is now the beneficiary of this new invention. And so does it help to surface them? Absolutely. I think additionally, it helps consumer confidence to increase, which is also for the betterment of society. And what consumers obviously would relate more to trademarks, consumer confidence in a particular brand, in a product. So is that for the benefit of society? And I think you would also conclude, absolutely. If we got rid of trademarks, would our trust in what it is that we would buy would also go away. But that which we buy is dependent upon companies having sufficient incentives to disclose that which they have invented. So the entire framework of everything in our entire society is built on brand recognition and trust in that brand, trademarks, inventions that allow products to come out, copyrights that actually protect a content that is being created either in relation to inventions or to brands or just content in general. That, books, artistic works, music, all this is for the betterment of society. Trade secrets creates a process by which that which is not necessarily disclosed to society, but which is still offering a competitive advantage to companies within society, can still achieve some protection. Now, one of the questions that you can be asking is, well, does subsequent litigation actually outweigh the benefits? And that is a hard question to ask, particularly in today's society, because we are so litigation hyped, and so people, and I would say almost litigation fatigued, that many people say, well, there's so much litigation, does it really outweigh the benefits? There were a number of reports back in 2012 timeframe in which they indicated litigation has such a detriment on society, it's costing us $29+ billion a year. Really an astronomical figure. And they said, well, is there that much benefit being granted to society based off of, all of the inventions that were the result of this litigation? And that's actually is a very good question, because people are constantly asking that. We do not want to get to the point where litigation exceeds the value of all the IP that is being, in fact, created. And I think you would agree with me as well that if suddenly litigation is getting rid of all value, then what is the value of having IP? So litigation and IP are almost integral to each other. One doesn't exist almost without the other. Obviously, litigation would exist in other types of legal markets. But with respect to IP, it doesn't exist. In order to be able to assert rights to patents or trademarks or trade secrets, you need to be able to assert that right, and it grants you a right to actually sue in court. I think I have a frog in my throat. So we want to ensure that the value that society is getting exceeds any of the detriment with respect to litigation that is actually going on. Now, as far as rights that are being transferred, there are ownership rights